Hello, hello, everyone. How's it going tonight? We got a good crowd tonight. I got to ask everybody, what session is this for you? Is it your first, second, or third? Is this your third? Oh, okay. We got a house full of threes in here, so y'all know what that means. Y'all trying to get that 50,000, right? Part of it. I'll explain more of that later. I got to say to everybody, welcome to Session 3 of the State 48 Foundation and also the BetMGM Entrepreneur Speaker Series presented by OGeez and also Drinking AZ. Thank you for being here. Tonight, this session is presented by Every Impression Counts, and we're live from the Walter Studios here in downtown Phoenix. My name is Jay Russell. I'm a news anchor and also a marketing professional, so that's why I'm up here tonight. All right, tonight's session, this is the big one. I remember coming to this one last year, and I think this is where we had the biggest audience. A lot of entrepreneurs always talk about, I have a business idea. How do I market it? How do I get the message out there that I have a great product? So that's what we're talking about tonight, building a community for brand growth, which you can see behind me. You'll be hearing from 4 amazing speakers tonight that I got to know a little bit before this session started. They're going to talk about growing your community and or your client base through community building and creating marketing strategies. But before we bring them up here, we got to bring up a State 48 Foundation member, Amber Cordoba. Give her a round of applause, everyone.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Amber Cordoba, and I'm one of the board members of the State 48 Foundation. And on behalf of the board, I would like to thank you all so much for being here tonight. And can we get a shout out for the fact that the weather is finally starting to cool down? As an entrepreneur-born organization, the State 48 Foundation has made it its mission to empower Arizona business owners, and we believe that locally owned businesses are the heartbeat of our community. They help stimulate the local economy, and above all, they empower all of you here to pursue a more fulfilling professional life. So I want to take this opportunity to remind you that outside of our entrepreneurial speaker series, we also do events throughout the year. We typically do one at least once per quarter. We try to do them more often. They're called Beyond Business events, and like this event, they're also free. We do education and networking. We try to do events all across the valley, so we're tapping into different areas. They vary in format, but they're always super fun, super informative, just like this event. We also like to do them in partnership with other local organizations because we want to bring you more resources and connect you with other entrepreneurs across the valley and bring the entrepreneurship community together. So our next event is actually going to be October 19th. This is going to be at the Four Peaks Tasting Room. And we would really, really appreciate it if you could all take out your phones and make sure you're following us on social media. Our Instagram is @State48 Foundation. We're going to be posting information about upcoming events that you can take part of. We'll also be sending out an email on Friday with a survey, and we'll also send out the link to register for that event on the 19th. We're super thrilled to have you all here tonight. Thank you again on behalf of the board. And if I could get your help with something, today is a special day. Nick, where are you? Come here. Come on up. For those of you that don't know, Nick Polando is the co-founder of State 48 Foundation. He's also one of our board members, and it happens to be his birthday. Thanks. So we have something special, even though we know you hate it. So if you could all help me sing happy birthday, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
It's gluten-free.
Now you all have to watch me eat it.
No, we only have one. It's gluten-free and it's vegan. It's from Nami Bakery on 7th Street. So if you haven't been there, check them out. Great locally owned businesses. They do not, sorry. Get yourself some OGeez and you can sprinkle it on top. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. The board really appreciates it. Please follow us, join us for our future events, and we look forward to an awesome night tonight. Thank you.
Goodness gracious, that thing looked good. We should got enough for everybody there. You know, before we continue to, if you're a State 48 Foundation board member, if you could just raise your hand real quick, I want to give you guys some recognition. Everybody, give them a round of applause. Kind gestures like that. Nick had no idea. Well, I heard that he said that he would only come if he got happy birthday sung to him. So there you go, Nick. There we go. All right, well, thank you, Amber. Now, one way that State 48 Foundation brings the community together, you saw as you were walking in, there are different organizations outside that you could speak with. Also on the side over there, too, I just want to give them some recognition as well. There are different programs here trying to help you grow your business, help market your business, to make sure that you get a card, sign up with them, because a lot of them are free services. House of Genius is out there. See them to practice perfecting your business pitch, and also Prestamo CDFI. I saw them week 1. I believe they were here week 2, and now they're here tonight. Speak with them about offering funding, technical assistance, and also growing your business. Now, we want to remind everybody about that $50,000 that you could win. But I want to go ahead and tell people you cannot win the full $50,000, because I've been hearing a lot of that. Now, businesses can win up to $10,000. Isn't that good? Okay, there you go. So you'll take it. I will too. Even 5,000 sound good to me. All right, now you have to attend at least 3 of the 4 speaker session series, virtually or in person. Then also, I did this last week too. I watched virtually at home. You'll go ahead and get a post-session survey that's going to be emailed to you on Friday. So don't look for it after tonight. Look for it on Friday. You'll go ahead and get that. If you complete those 2 things, you'll be sent an application. You can fill that out, and that's your chance to win a part of that $50,000, not the full $50,000. Now, people that are coming in right now, coming in a little bit, somebody just actually walked through the door. If everybody could kind of just scoot in a little bit, if you're sitting in the back, if you see a seat up front, I see a couple of seats. So just in case if you can, you know when you walk in a little bit late, you feel bad sitting right up front because everybody sees you type of thing. So yes, sir, I see you. It's okay. We're all family here. All right, the restrooms are in the back, so please do not use that door that keeps opening over there when we have the speakers come. There's bathrooms in the back, so you can go ahead and do your business back there. And also, there's going to be an opportunity to ask your questions at the end. I did not hear this because I was watching virtually, but last week, people were standing up asking questions. I'm just letting you know right now, our speakers are only going to answer the questions if you have a microphone. So we just want to make sure that we keep the order here tonight. Just don't stand up and start asking a question. And then also, after the event, make sure you stick around. You can speak with the speakers and ask them questions as well. Now for our keynote speaker tonight, I'm just going to say it. She said she was okay with it. She is a powerhouse. Everybody knows it, too. All right, she's an author, investor, and founder of Powerhouse Women. It's a global community of women who dream very, very big. Lindsey has achieved an extraordinary feat, propelling her company to global recognition without ever resorting to traditional advertising methods. We're going to bring her up on stage right now, Miss Lindsey Schwartz. Give it up for her.
Hey, everyone. Check 1, 2. Okay, great. I just took a look at this stage when I walked in, and I was like, this looks like the Beyonce concert. There's like so many life dreams coming true all at once right now. I am so excited to be here. So thrilled. Mike, thank you, the entire team, the board, for having me, for allowing me to be a part of your vision, because I believe so deeply that entrepreneurs are such a powerful force for good in the world. How many of you in this room have your own business? Can I just see a show of hands? Okay, amazing. How many of you would like to, if you don't already? Don't raise your hand if you're sitting next to your boss. Just give me like a wink. I can't see it, but I'll know. I'll feel it. And when I heard that the topic for tonight, the theme, was on community, I knew I had to be here. Because community is the heartbeat of my brand, my business, Powerhouse Women. I know there are several of you in the room. Thank you for representing. Thank you for coming so that I didn't feel as nervous speaking to just a different group that I normally get to speak to. But I'm so honored to be here because I do believe that community is the future of business. And I believe that I'm going to share a little bit of the Powerhouse Women journey and story. I'm going to share a little bit of my view of community and how I think a lot of businesses right now, big and small, are missing the opportunity to make the full impact that they could make. So those of you, my business owner friends, my little sunshade, very bright up here. I just want to see a show of hands. How many of you would genuinely love to increase your retention, customer retention in your business? Okay, and give me like an emphatic locked arm. Okay, great. Yeah, this is a very participatory audience. I like you already. Okay, how many of you would love to see an organic influx of new leads that aren't even really coming from your marketing efforts? It's your customers out there telling their friends who are telling their friends. Okay, great, got it. How many of you are coaches or consultants? You're like one-on-one service providers. Okay, for those of you who raise your hands, how many of you would love if you could add additional value that does not require you to show up on another call or spend another hour one-on-one with people? Okay, I see some like very slow, resigned, yeah, would really like that. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of the journey of building this community called Powerhouse Women. But I don't want it to be about me. I want you to be listening for, and don't worry, I'll make it very obvious, what there is for you to learn for your own businesses that can absolutely provide you all of those end results and more. Because what's cool about my story, and I had a little moment, does anyone ever feel a little bit of like imposter syndrome? Like, who am I to do this? Okay, great, this is like truth time. I'm on a panel with these geniuses when it comes to digital marketing, and I couldn't tell you, I couldn't even log into my Facebook Business Manager if I tried. But what I can share with you is how we have grown one of the largest, I believe, one of the most authentic, engaged communities for ambitious women around the globe. Something that started as, quite honestly, just a little seed of an idea that I had 6 years ago has grown into a top podcast that gets about 100,000 downloads every single month. It has turned into an annual event. We just had our annual event in Scottsdale just about a month ago that brought 600 women from around the world, and every single year we've sold out that room without using ads, all organic, all community-based. And we've sold out programs, live events, live programs, coaching programs, digital courses. We've also launched apparel and merchandise. So I've kind of dipped into every realm of business, service-based, product-based. My core, I know, is community. And I think if you start to look at your business through the lens of how can I add community to my growth strategy, I know that the impact, the ripple effect of that decision, of deciding to prioritize community, is powerful. So I'm just going to give you like these bullet points from our journey that really apply to you no matter what stage of the journey you're in. So just so that I know, how many of you consider yourself in the early stages of your business journey? First 1 to 3 years, or just whatever you consider early stage. Okay, great. How many of you are more seasoned? Maybe you've been at it 3+ years. Okay, amazing, great. So one of the things that was a big part of our story, still is that I had a very small audience. Anyone else ever feel like your audience size is like too small for the bank account you would like to have for your business? We can be honest in here, right? Okay, great. But here's the thing. I honestly never saw the size of our audience as a problem because I just knew that I had to think differently. So in the very early stages, without realizing that this is what I was doing, I made a very, very important distinction of what community actually means. Do you want to hear it? 3 people. Okay, the 3 people who said yes over here, I'm just going to tell them, not anyone else. So just kidding. Okay, so when I think of what community means, I think there's a very important difference between your audience and your community. When I'm building my audience, which I do have a strategy within my business plan to grow my audience, I want people to know how amazing you are, how you can help them. I want more eyeballs on your business and your brand. But when I'm building my audience, I'm really answering the question, how do I get more people to connect with me, to connect with my brand? Now, I always get pushback on this. People are like, but it's not about me. I'm all about service. Yes, I know. But still, you need people to know about you so you can serve them, okay? But does that make sense? Your audience growth strategy is really about how do I attract new attention for what I'm doing. I wanted to do that too in the beginning. I just didn't have a lot of eyeballs. So without realizing it, what we did from the very beginning was we prioritized community. Community goes a level deeper. So instead of just saying, how do I get more people to connect with me as a brand, I'm asking a deeper question, which is, how do I get more of them to connect with each other? How do we get more of them to find others who think like them, believe the things they believe, have similar goals, and make my brand the place where they know they can find more people like them? Would you agree that creating a sense of belonging, no matter what business industry you're in, hits on a very powerful human need, the need to belong? So in your business, how can you translate this? How can you start to look for, and we're going to talk a lot more about this on the panel, I'll get to go in more specifics, where are the opportunities to create connection? Not just get more attention, but can you convert that attention into taking it a level deeper and saying, well, how can I help my brand be this epicenter where people know they can meet more people like them? And as we started to do that, I started to notice that our events were filling without me having to really sell very hard. Anyone ever feel like you kind of have to sell your face off and it's just like, that's not a very comfortable thing for you? No one's had to sell their face off. Good, great. Glad to hear it. Me either. But I really want you to think about this. Are you right now getting a steady stream of referrals that are coming from past clients and people who are just, they aren't even your clients, but they're telling their friends that they need to work with you? And the thing that we really got clear about in the beginning, this is point number one. Anytime I get to consult with businesses big and small on their community growth strategy, the first place we always start, and this is an important one, so if you have something to write, I would write this down. Get clear on what are you unifying people around. Like, what is the thing, the connective tissue, that you are creating a conversation around? And I'll give you a spoiler alert, what we build community around first and foremost, and I actually think it's the most important element to build community around, is an aspirational identity. Because we all serve people, right? In your businesses, if you have a business, do you serve people? Yes? Okay, great. So there's someone that they are right now, there's where they are right now, and then there's where they want to be and who they want to become. If you can create a conversation and create community around who they want to become and help connect them with other people who are on that journey so they don't feel as alone, what starts to happen is, as these natural connections are happening, your retention goes up. Because if my best friend is a part of this business community, or is a part of your social media network, or listens to your podcast, I want to be a part of the crowd. I don't want to leave because my people are associated with that brand. Does that make sense? So what are you unifying people around? The very first offer that we launched was a live event. It was in 2017. And year after year, as we started to have, then it turned into an annual event. Has anyone launched something in your business where you didn't really have a plan for it, but all of a sudden you were like, okay, this is a thing now. Yes? Okay, I found one person. I think there was one more hand over here. So what started to happen is this conversation started to take on a life of its own. And people said, well, when's the next one? And when's the next one? And hey, do you have other communities, other smaller coaching containers I can plug into? So by prioritizing community from the beginning, what it allowed me to do is really refine the other offers and test them before I ever put the time and money, quite honestly, into launching something. So nothing that I've ever launched, we've sold masterminds of 20 women, higher ticket. We've sold e-courses we just did a launch of where we brought in 150 new students. We've done a membership community, but every single one has been in response to something that the community is asking for, because we created that connection point from the beginning. And even if your business model is different, I really can't underline this enough, that if you prioritize the connection piece of it, it starts to give you the kind of feedback that you probably aren't getting right now in your business. And that feedback helps you write better marketing copy. That feedback and that connection with your customer base helps you to reach their friends and their networks. So as Powerhouse Women has grown, and as we've realized that it's kind of the intangible, it's the community element that has allowed us to generate over $2 million in sales in the last 3 years without spending a dollar on ads, and with an email list of under 10,000. I'm sure these guys could tell us if that's like normal conversion rates or not. I don't even really know, okay? But what I'll tell you is that there's an energy to a business that's prioritizing community, a business that is creating these natural connection points for other people to meet people like them. And regardless of what industry you're in, if you want your business to grow, my belief is that if you can find a way to include community as part of your business growth strategy, you will outrun your competition. You'll have the kind of brand loyalty that you literally cannot buy. And if you don't, this isn't like gloom and doom, but I do believe the businesses that are overlooking community, or they're not willing to invest in doing the simple things right now to create connection. And again, we can go into this on the panel as far as like the tactical. But if you're not prioritizing community, I'm concerned that you'll leave money on the table or you'll get left behind. Because in a world where AI and technology is running the entire world, the one thing you can't replace is human connection. Right? Yeah. So here's where I often get pushback is, yes, it's the long game. It is. But what if it doesn't have to be an either or? What if you can learn some amazing tips from the rest of the panel tonight? I will be taking notes as well. And what if you can prioritize, just even if you keep this question, if you leave with one thing tonight from what I shared, and you're thinking about this question, how can I create connection within the people who are paying attention to what it is that I'm doing? How can I create spaces really intentionally for them to get to know one another? I do believe that those are the businesses that over time are going to see those results that I was talking about at the beginning. Increased retention. The organic referrals of your dreams. I talked to a woman today and she was like, oh, I already have 5 women who are coming to your event next year. They don't even know when the date is. I don't have a date, I don't have a venue. And her friends are like, yeah, you're just so excited, I have to come. But this is something that's been compounded over 6 years of every single day, every single week, every single touch point that we have with our customers, whether that's on social media, our podcast, our email list, we have a text list as well. Those are some of our touch points. I'm building community in each and every one of those. So I could say a whole lot more, but I really am excited for the panel portion where we'll get into some of the tactical stuff. And I'm just really so grateful for the opportunity to be here and be a part of a conversation that I just really am so passionate about. So thank you. And I'm going to hand it over to our host so we can kick off the panel.
Also, too, this was really good. I was going through Lindsey's social media a little bit before to find out more about her, and she said this quote that was interesting. If you're willing to be misunderstood by a few, you'll be able to impact many. And I feel like just her coming up here right now and talking about that, you're going to rattle a few cages, but it's okay. You got to get your point across. So they're going to be coming up here right now for our Q&A session. Just letting everybody know again and reminding everybody, if you do have a question, please get a microphone. Please do not stand up. I wasn't here last week, but I heard about it. Okay, so we're all set up. So now we'll go ahead and get our panelists back up here, and I'll go ahead and introduce them. So first off, we have Mr. Thriller. No, I'm just playing with you. Michael Jackson is coming up here. He's the CEO and Chief Creative Officer of Maya Kai Creative. And then we have Matt Miera, the co-founder of Strap Photo Club. Something interesting about him, he said that he traveled the world in 5 days. So that might be a question there. I want to know more about that. And then we have Mr. Dustin Trout, who's the founder and Chief Strategy Officer of EIC. If you look on your little notebooks right there, every impression counts. Their name is on there. All right, and then we're going to bring up, last but not least, Mr. Lindsey back to the stage as well. And before we get started with the questions, I'm going to let them just introduce themselves so they could just talk and tell you a little bit more about themselves. He.
Guess I'm first. Michael Jackson, real name. The owner of Maya Kai Creative. We are a full-service creative agency here in the Valley. Been here for about 9 years. And also, fun fact, we're the only black-owned advertising agency in the state. Thank you. We're also located in New Mexico and also in Colorado. We work with brands like OGeez, Facebook, National Forest, nonprofits. We do a little bit of everything. So that's us.
I'm Matt Miera. I'm the co-founder of Strap Photo Club. We are simply a disposable camera company. We aim to make shooting disposable cameras easy, eventually making film as a whole easier to shoot, less barrier to entry on film, focusing on living in the moment is kind of what we do.
Awesome. Well, is this on? Cool. Well, thanks for having me out. My name is Dustin Trout. I am owner of EIC Agency. I'm very passionate about business and obsessed with business growth. There's so much greatness that can happen from it, from changing lives to changing communities, and just love it. And right now at this stage in my life, to do that is running EIC Agency, and so have a great passion for it, work with State 48, and so thank you guys for coming out here. Honestly, kudos to everyone. You guys have invested the most precious asset you guys have, which is your time to come learn, to network, and grow your business. So kudos to everyone that showed up out here, honestly.
You want me to go again?
You know what, Lindsey? It's all good. You know what? I'm gonna
Still Lindsey.
Yeah, no, it's still Lindsey. She just got done speaking. I'm going to ask some follow-up questions as well, just so we can know a little bit more about you. Lindsey, we'll start with you. What has been the most challenging thing you dealt with being a business owner?
My own thoughts. Quite literally, yeah. Oh, glad I'm not the only one. Just consistently learning how to evolve as a leader, because my business has always grown on the other side of the personal breakthroughs, and they're not always pretty, they're not always fun, but that's been the toughest part.
Mine is learning to say no. That has been the hardest thing, and it's literally up until the last about 2 months, been getting more disciplined about it. Have all the best intention.
Sure,
oh, now I'm going to hear myself.
Yeah.
That was intentional.
Yeah, I know. But it's learning how to say no. It's all the best intention to do as much as you can, help out as much, but if you're only giving 60% and all those different things, you're not as valuable as you can be. So not stealing opportunity from people that deserve it, clients that need it, and so learning how to say no, and it's hard, but it needs to be done.
I would probably have to say getting out of my own way also. You know, if you have an idea, just running with it and not letting perfectionism get in the way. And it's easier if you just put it out there and refine it based on feedback and based on the things that you learn doing it than just to hold back and never do it. So I think that's probably my partner and I both, I think it's both of us. We get in our own way often, so.
Challenges? I would say finding the right team. So getting the right people on the bus. There's a book everyone should get, Good to Great. And so it's about getting the right team on the bus. And so when you have bad people on your shit or your bus, you can't go far. So that's for me.
Yeah, that's a good one, just because I know a lot of business owners, it's hard to let go some of that power a little bit, but you got to have the right people on that bus. That kind of leads me on to my next question. A lot of business owners out there right now, revenue can't be the main driver for it. It needs to be something else. So I want to ask all of you, what is the why behind your business? So why did you create your business? Michael, we'll start with you again.
I think my why, it's a long story, but I won't go there. Honestly, I started my agency because of the lack of diversity in the community of advertising. And so, thank you. Moving here from San Diego, it was really tough, and I was creative, doing all this cool stuff. My accolades were really great, but it was really hard to find a job in the field I wanted to be in, so I had to create it myself, in my own lane. And with that, being in the industry for so long, I was the only person in the room that looked like me. And so I really wanted to create something that I can have other people that look like me come in and be a part of, and it's not every day that a person of color could work with the NBA straight out of school, or or like things like that. So that's my why, and so it's more community driven, and also being able to create platforms and open the doors. Not really be a gatekeeper, but just help people get through the doors.
At Strap, I think our why is a lot about, there's a lot about film. My partner and I are passionate about film. We love it. We've always loved it. And getting more people back into it is a passion. However, living in the moment is our why. And really giving people a vehicle and a reason to step away from their phone and enjoy the people that they're with. Shoot a film photo, you don't get to see it. Maybe you got it, maybe you didn't. But you have the actual memory, right? So instead of taking 50 of the same photo on your phone and then maybe using one of them or maybe never using any of them, it's shooting that one shot and then continuing your conversation with the people that you're with at the event you're with, or whatever it is you're doing. So I think living in the moment is our why.
Mine would have to be changing as many family trees as possible. Through business growth, new employees come in, you connect products and services to consumers that could change their life. So through digital ads, and forgot to mention this at the beginning, but what we do is help Shopify brands scale profitably, and it's all through digital ads. So we do a lot of Facebook ads, Google ads, contrary to what you were talking about earlier. But we use ads differently, not to push sales, to push community. And so a different way to use ads, but through this, you can exponentially grow a business. And when that happens, that can make such an impact on people's lives. And if we can help either provide more finances that create more time with a family, that helps a broken family, creates revenue or money, where there's been an impoverished family, whatever it may be, using our superpower to get the right message in front of the right person that drives a business outcome and changes family trees is kind of the why.
I feel like, if I'm being honest, I was initially inspired to fill a personal need. I was lonely as an entrepreneur. I felt like the weirdo in my family, still do. And I realized that I needed to support myself with people who were on the same journey. And then I saw what that did for others, that if they knew they weren't alone in pursuing their big dreams, they were more likely to see it through. And I do believe, male or female, I just happen to have a community of women, that when we get out of our own way and into action around ideas, I think that's how the world changes. And I want to see that happen and be a part of it.
And speaking about changes, when you asked a little bit earlier in your keynote speak, you asked how many new entrepreneurs are there in the first 3 years. So I wanted to ask you guys, how does your business look from when you first started compared to now? So, you know, we went from Lindsey to Michael. So Dustin, I'll go ahead and have you start off with it.
Well, over the last couple of years, what matter? Over the last couple, yeah, we just hit the 5-year mark, and it seems like every day is a roller coaster ride between what we're offering, what we're doing, who we're working with, and it's been a lot of figuring out and testing, and so who we are, what we do, who we serve has changed completely, and literally we've been working on it aggressively over the last couple months, and we're getting a lot more honed in. And I guarantee if you ask me this in 6 months, it's going to be a little bit different. So the only thing that's constant is change. The best intention and trying to drill down into why you want to change, I think, is key. We've been in business 2 years now, and I think from the beginning, it was an idea. It was a very passionate idea. We went as fast as we could to get to market, and that, it was probably a 4-month period from when we first had the idea to launching. And that was, we used suppliers in China, so we had these cameras that they were okay. They weren't great, right? So going from that to now having a deal with Fuji, our cameras are now made by Fuji, and that is like, thank you. So that alone, right? Our business is memories. Our business is, and we want those to look as great as possible. And the cameras that we started with, they did the trick, but it wasn't wow. And now we're at a point where it's wow. So that I think is probably the biggest from then to now change, and something that we hope to keep expanding on. So I do want to say one thing you said earlier. Perfect is the enemy of great. If you would have sat and waited to get the Fuji camera, you would have never done it. So kudos to you for getting out there and doing it.
What does it look like now versus 3 years ago or year 3? We're 6 years in, and the biggest change I would say is not doing it by myself anymore. I bootstrapped the entire thing, and it was a solo show, other than my amazing husband who's here, hype man forever, and such a big part of, you didn't know that there was a 6'4" strong man behind Powerhouse Women, did you? But that was a scary leap, investing in hiring a team, investing in really growing the vision. And then the other biggest change is about 3 years in was when I hired my first mentor, because I do believe in the bootstrap mentality and figuring it out as we go. I'm still figuring it out as I go, but when I invested in myself and in my idea, something shifted in me. The way I showed up for my business shifted. That was a big, externally, I think a lot of people saw like a lot of brand growth, but it was because of all the personal growth I was investing in as the leader. And I was scared out of my mind, being a boss for the first time, like heavily investing in myself, but it paid off, and I'm so grateful for it.
I think for us, been around for a little bit, COVID, crazy, so we pivoted a lot, but also saw a lot of growth. And so when I first started off, it was just me, like yourself, doing everything, meeting everybody. And so now we're a team of about 20, which is really great. I think that it's all about locking in, and it's okay to pivot. And my favorite word is, oh yeah, we're restructuring today. And so I'm pretty sure I restructured a lot, because over the years, everything has changed. You have to be able to adapt on the fly. So learned firsthand with Meta, our first time working with them. They wanted us to provide a service. Could have easily said no, right? But we adapt. Like, we're going to do this late nights. I believe it was on New Year's. It had to be out on New Year's Day. I was up for 72 hours trying to knock out the project. So whatever it takes to get the client. And so, yeah, it looks a little different now, life, but still, you got to be adaptable. You got to be able to move around. It's okay to restructure.
I think what I heard from all four of the speakers is change is going to happen, and you really have to just adapt to it. I remember working as a news anchor. You would only have the 5, 6, and 10 o'clock shows, and frankly, people don't watch the news really at 10 o'clock anymore, but they move to streaming devices because that's what people do, or you do alerts, so you always have to be adaptable to change. Now, real quick, if you're in the first year of your business, can you just raise your hand? Okay, so you guys are really going to want to hear this. You guys have a great idea. How do you market it, though? Where do you start off? I think that's one of the biggest questions, because having this great idea without anybody knowing about it is almost useless. So I want to ask all the panelists, where do you suggest they begin when it comes to picking up their marketing lane? Lindsay, go ahead and take it. I saw you looking.
Well, I'll give you the ballin' on a budget version, okay? Anyone else like really financially strapped and like you're literally just doing as much as you can with a little? If that's you, I actually think that makes you such a better entrepreneur. Makes you so much more resourceful. So what I would focus on is collaboration. Who already has the attention of the person you want to reach, and can you add value to them such that they're willing to maybe give you some visibility within their brand? So I have the products that I sell are more like courses, things like that. How can I provide a platform for someone else who already has the audience I want to reach, give them value? I'm not asking for something in return, but can I make it a win-win for us to collaborate? And there's always something that you can bring to the table. Even if you're new, I think that's a mistake that when we're new, we go in kind of feeling like, oh, I'm new, I'm not worthy, I don't have anything to offer you. Yes, you do. There is something you are great at that they would find valuable. So have confidence in the things that you're great at. Start to look at who could be an ideal partner for you, or even someone who's in the startup phase as well, that you can really benefit from each other's momentum, and look for those natural collaboration opportunities. I think that's where I would start.
I love that. That's great advice. And I think, first year you've built something, you have a product, you have an idea, you have a service, whatever it is you have, you probably already have the voice, you probably already have an ideal consumer, you probably have a dream client already in mind. Maybe you don't know that, but I think it's don't forget about that original idea. Like, you built this for something, for someone, and really I think it's focus on that audience first. And if that doesn't end up being your audience, it's okay, but that's a great starting point because it's the one that drove you to bring this idea to life. So I think that's really important, is not to lose sight of the original reason that you built what you built, right? And I think a lot of people get overwhelmed, like, oh shoot, there's all these audiences, there's, who should I be targeting? But I think it's already there. You just have to kind of hone in on why you started in the first place.
All right, well, to me, the best businesses solve a problem. And so I think the common theme here is people have an assumption of who their audience is that has this problem that your product or service solves. So kind of piggybacking on these ideas, with these assumptions, everyone wants to create content and do social. That is great. Be more intentional. Try and find out what questions are people asking. You can use Quora.com. There's so many tools you can use to get those questions. Produce content around it and start pushing on social, but please, please, please don't stop there, because your mom, your dad, your brother just saying it isn't gonna move the needle. It was mentioned early on that when you're starting out, the key is getting seen. To me, I'm going to be biased on ads, but post the content, the valuable content, build it out through different audiences that you think might resonate it, and spend $2 a day, $3 a day just testing. You'll start getting feedback on, oh, this audience likes this message. And you'll start to get a better understanding of what your positioning power is to different audiences, and you'll learn much quicker. And again, the key is not running ads to say, buy this, buy this. It's, hey, I see you have this problem. This is how I can help you solve it. And you're not going to get a ton of business from it, but you're going to get a lot of education. I think the difference is most people go in with smaller budgets, and the expectation is to 20x their ad spend. And if everyone can do that, everyone will be billionaires. So I think it's just a matter of trying to figure out who your audience is and what your message is, so you can refine it and continually hone in on it.
Very cool. I think everyone has something great to say. Can you hear me? Oh, all right. It's all good. I would say, I'll keep it super simple. Everyone has a business here, starting one, and someone else done it before. So check out your competitor. See what they're doing. Tap in. Check out their audience. Feel that shit. I don't know if I'm able to say shit. Well, I said shit. Sorry. But whatever. Yeah, steal it. Steal it. There's like, what's that phrase? There's no such thing as original idea. So yeah, if you see something you like, repurpose it for you, and then put your magic on it, your touch, build a community. Yeah, rapper. But yeah, I would say do that. So check out your competitor, steal all that. Yeah, deep dive. Then on the back end, you want to develop your story and really dive into it and see how you can leverage their customers to you. I just gave y'all a nugget, so there you go.
I'm taking notes on what everybody said, and I just wrote "steal that" with a D. That's what it's about. Okay. All right, the next question we have is, what would you say the biggest challenge entrepreneurs and business owners face when it comes to today's marketing, and what advice would you give them in managing the marketing? Lindsey, let's go back to you. Nope. Oh, let's go.
I'll jump in on this one. I think it's noise. I think noise is your biggest competitor, and I look at it like riding a bull. Not that I've ever ridden a bull, but you literally have 8 seconds. You have 8 seconds to convince or portray or say what you want to say before they're on to the next thing. And if you can keep them for the full 8 seconds, great. There's a much better chance that you're going to make it. But I think the biggest thing in your way is noise. It's for every one of us here. So, finding ways to penetrate, finding ways to ideate, what's new. I mean, we are yet to run ads, not for long, but because we're intimidated by it. Like there's so much learning, there's so much testing that goes into it. So, we'll start on that track. And I think it's just I think noise is the biggest competition.
Yeah, just to echo that, cut through the noise, being authentic as well. Once you cut through the noise, then you're able to show your true self and be able to deliver a really good product or service or whatnot. And so you just want to latch onto that, because once you become authentic, then you're really building that community. So people are going to want to come back, and being able to drop a lot of nuggets here and there, which will be really great. And so, yeah, just I think the noise right now is cut through the noise, and maybe content creation too, because there's a lot of content out there that you're just gonna have to just produce over and over, but it's okay. Just stay focused.
You stole mine. But you kicked it off with a powerful one, because it's the distraction. But I'm going to pivot that a little bit and say the noise up here. Because what I see more and more is people not putting themselves out there to even be seen and be found because they're overthinking it, or they have insecurities about showing up and representing their business. And I have a good friend, Jen Gottlieb, who says it's your responsibility to be seen. And if you don't put yourself out there, the person who was supposed to work with you is going to go find someone else, hire them, and they may not care as much, and they may not be as good as you. And every time I hear that, if I'm overthinking this Instagram story or this video I'm going to post, I'm making that about me. I'm not making it about the person I want to help. So I think just even the noise in our own minds, because it does take a lot of consistency to build your authentic voice, to break through the actual noise on social media. But people don't want perfection. They just want you. They want to connect with you on a genuine level. And I still struggle with that. So I think for me, specifically standing out, it's just the noise in my own head that's stopping me from showing up as much as I really should if I want to make the size of the impact that I know I want to make.
It's so right, because anytime I'll have a picture or something, I'm like, I just can't post this. I got to get on Photoshop. I got to make sure it looks right. Got to make sure the hair looks right and everything. But Tim, I think, from the State 48 Foundation, he was always telling me, Jay, like, it's the quantity. People want consistency. Like, keep posting. And I'm still working through that right now, Tim, so I apologize about that. But these are some good points you guys are bringing up. Now, I know early in your careers, you guys probably started off with a smaller budget for marketing. Now, at the stages you're at right now, you probably have a bigger budget. So the question is, what advice would you give to people that are working with a big budget for marketing, and then the advice you'd give to somebody with a smaller budget? And all of you don't have to answer, just somebody that has something to say.
Cool. Well, I like the budget talk. So to me, it's going back down to what's the biggest struggle. It's trying to figure out what's going to move the needle, what's actually making an impact on the business. And so whether it's big or small budget, it's trying to understand what outcome you're trying to achieve. To me, a large budget, you're going to generate more sales. You're going to generate all the fun stuff that everyone with a small budget wants. And so I think it's a matter of setting expectation as to what you want, what the outcome you want. With a smaller budget, going back to my original comment, don't think you're going to 10x your revenue. Don't think you're going to get all these sales. Go in with the mindset of, I'm going to learn. This is going to be education. ASU charges a ton of money, and I guarantee you can learn how to grow your business for a lot less by running ads. And so it's going with that intention. When you start learning and growing, then you kind of change the expectation. I need to start making ROI from this and growing. But at different stages, you need different outcomes from the efforts that you're doing. And so really identifying what outcome you're looking to, engaging, are you accomplishing that, is going to be the goal, whether you have a big or small budget.
I was just double checking. Oh, here you go, Mike.
I'll throw something in too. Everyone always gets caught up on the budget, but when we hear big numbers, little numbers, I always go back to most creative wins. So sometimes you don't need a budget in my eyes. It's about how you formulate your idea and go through execution, where you're teaming up with someone in the community that can create a guerrilla marketing plan, all for free, and create viral success without a budget. So think about that as well, just being creative, because there's a lot of successful businesses that grew overnight just because they shared some information or they delivered it in a creative way, just blew up.
And then moving on to social media, next one is, how do you as a business owner leverage social media, or as marketing experts, how do you advise your clients or brands to use social media?
I'll kick it off and just talk a little bit about the community side of things, how we've leveraged social media to build community. Because I think sometimes when I say community, and you can just give me a show of hands if you thought this, people hear, oh, I need a Facebook group. And that's actually not what I mean. Community isn't defined by the container it's in. It's actually the connection piece. So I just actually added it to the link in bio on my page right now. It's just like a freebie we created that shows people like some specific ways that we, in our content, intentionally create connection. So one of them is, like, for example, I have a personal page and I have a community page for Powerhouse Women. We'll use the caption of our we're mostly on Instagram, posts to say, hey, drop a comment down below with what your business is and where you live, and then go and find and follow the person who commented right above you. So you're gonna send one message and DM them saying, hey, I found you through Powerhouse Women. You're gonna send one message and receive one message. So we'll do little things like that, or little engagement games, like literally using our own content to help them connect with each other. And it started to help people know that when I'm engaging with anything that Powerhouse Women is doing, I'm gonna meet other like-minded people and feel less alone on this entrepreneur journey. So just even thinking, I think social media can feel overwhelming, it can feel really noisy, but if you were resonating with the community piece, there are really intentional ways that you can use social media to build community without ever running a Facebook group, and you start to create that engaged following like we were talking about. And that's something I wish, I didn't really learn to tap into those kind of things until later. I wish I would have known that and thought of that idea from the beginning, because I think we would have gotten traction a lot faster.
And that's what everyone wants to hear about. Round of applause. Okay, these questions are for Michael and Dustin. This is something that I'm learning about too right now: digital marketing, email, SEO, PPC, Google Analytics. You've heard all the terms, but how important are they? Implementing these digital marketing strategies, how can you support your community growth with digital marketing strategies? You two in the middle, yes. Y'all are both looking at me.
Cool. So I think it goes back to the different stages that you're in and where you're learning and everything. I mean, to me, the buzzword is SEO. Everyone wants to do it, but that is such a long-term play. And if you're just starting out, not the playground to play in. To me, it's, again, getting an understanding of who your audience is and what it is that they want. So really, social media, creating content, and getting it out there. At the end of the day, you need to say something, and you need that something to be heard. So diving into content creation, diving into social, and then amplifying social, to me, are kind of the sweet combo. Everything else can come after you start growing and learning. Once you start building that community, that's where the email, the texting, and the nurturing play a lot, bigger role in everything. So I think it's identifying kind of where you're at, what goals you have, and then what mix to kind of incorporate into your business.
Very cool. We were confused up here just a little bit. Oh, okay. I think that all of those are all relevant, like email campaigns, social media, PPC. You don't know how you're going to touch someone, so these are all touch points. So you could reach an older demographic, or you can hit your shoppers, PPC. Things like that, social media, the younger crowd. So I think those are all important. You should have a strategy for all of them. Snapchat as well, Be Real. Do that. I'm not one of those guys. But yeah, I think all those are really important, and just to really dive in. Yeah, you should have one.
Now, we spoke a little bit about community tonight, so we're going to dive into some of those questions. And so these questions are for everybody up here. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that. I would love to know what you define as community in the business world. Lindsey.
Me? I kind of gave that definition earlier. To me, it's creating connection between the people who are coming into your brand universe. Connection is at the heart of it.
I think, what Lindsey said earlier about your community is not necessarily your audience kind of struck a chord with me. And in my head, I started to kind of look at those as two different buckets, and it does make sense. And I do think that, for Strap, for instance, our community, you know, the business name is Strap Photo Club, right? You throw club in there, you feel like you're a part of something. Whether that means you're a subscriber or not a subscriber to our product, you're still following along and supporting or commenting or liking. Maybe you're purchasing, maybe you're telling your friends about it. You're still kind of there's a community there. You feel like you're a part of something. So in business, I think that, you know, getting that buy-in, you know, a follower is a follower. I think that's audience. But if you get somebody to truly buy in and for who you are or for what your product is or for what you stand for, I think that's community.
And then piggybacking on buying into the community, once you find that, what do you suggest the business owners cultivate their community? Like where, with so many platforms, do you just choose one to build it on? I know, Lindsey, you spoke a little bit about you don't need a Facebook group to do it, but I was speaking with just people earlier. I don't know, I'm a little bit older, so, okay, now people are going to say, you're not that old. Yes, I'm a little bit older. And it's kind of like, for me, it's really hard to get on TikTok. Like, I just don't want to do a type of thing. But I could be losing out on the opportunity. And going back to Tim from the foundation, he's posting stuff all the time, and he's doing stuff as a loan officer, and it's doing great numbers. So what platform would you say people should really focus on?
I'll jump in there because we are only on Instagram. We have a TikTok. When we do a reel, sure, we post it on TikTok too, but we've never really developed specifically for TikTok. Should we? Probably. Like he said, it's hard. I mean, it's a lot to manage. Our brand is about living in the moment, right? So we'll take the weekends off, and we'll just send a note on Fridays and say, hey, we're disconnecting. We're not going to answer emails. We're not going to respond to DMs. We suggest you do the same. So if you want consistency from us, maybe you don't follow us because we're not going to post on the weekends, right? So we're not your guys, but we want to promote that. That's who we are. That's what we believe in. So that's what we're going to do. And I think that, you know, you need to find what works best for you, whether that's Instagram, TikTok, all of the above. It's a lot, right? So for mental capacity and for mental health reasons, like, maybe we just stick to one or two. So I think it's as much as you can manage and as much as you find is helpful for you and your brand.
I love that, and I think it really depends on where are the people that you want to reach, where are they spending time, on which platforms, and then where are you naturally drawn to. Even if you kind of have like an aversion to social media, maybe your community is built around getting people together in person, right? Like that, we still do that, right? We're doing it right now. So I hear so many entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed because you're trying to wear all of the hats. Pick one, I love that tip, and figure out how to build the connection piece into the place where you can consistently show up, and then build from there. So we repurpose a lot of content too, but we mainly create for Instagram, but then we look at how we can even repurpose that for email lists, like emails to our list. I'll sometimes turn an Instagram caption into a podcast episode or vice versa. So I'm a big fan of creating for one platform and then looking for where I can repurpose that meaningfully in other ways, so it feels like we're more omnipresent, but I'm really just creating it once.
I love what both of you said. Basically, where your audience is. To me, this is where you get introduced, because you can sit here and say, I need to be on Facebook groups, but if no one is there, you're not going to cultivate an audience there. So it's trying to identify where they're at. But to me, long-term is how can you build that audience and awareness on your website? You're going to be engaging on social, TikTok, all these different things, but there have been times where Facebook made an algorithm update and you can't reach anyone. Like, you're giving all the power to these ad platforms. How can you build a community on your website? And there's so many tools, different things that you can do. But once you get them back there, there's so many powerful things that you can do between getting them opted into email, to retargeting them with ads, and continuing that message. And so don't get stuck on what I like or what you like. It's where your audience is at. And once you start cultivating that audience, it's not about you, in a sense, it's about them as well. So kind of ask where they want to engage, and that might find new channels that you've never even thought about before.
I think I want to go a little different and say you shouldn't cross posts, only because we tell our partners that each platform is different. So your audience on Instagram is your Instagram audience. TikTok's different. They're all different, and so all different age groups as well. And so I would really look at that, and so really sit down and create a content calendar and really dive into what is my audience doing on Instagram, and then only build content for Instagram, because what you post on Instagram over to like TikTok, it may not even work, and you're just doing it just to do it. And so TikTok is so huge right now where like anything can go viral just like that. And so it's really important to develop content and just hone in. And TikTok is like the president of all communities, I believe. So there's so many little micro communities from like cooking, real estate, magic. It's crazy. I got lost in the sauce one day watching ShamWow, like all the different videos that are old school. It's really crazy. But TikTok really has something there where they form these little communities. And so you definitely want to like hone in and figure out what your audience is doing on those platforms, but create different content for each platform.
And then you guys are doing events like this, pouring back into your community right now, sitting up on stage, talking with the audience. How do you ensure that you're pouring back into your community with your set businesses? Like, what do you guys do specifically to make sure that you're pouring back into them? That was some good jazz going on there. Just rocking. Mike, I'll let you go first.
I think I do a lot. I do a little too much. I need to calm down sometimes. So I'm on a number of boards. And so the AAF, which is American Advertising Federation. I also was a mentor for the One School. It's a One Creative School. It's for Black and brown kids that are trying to get into advertising. And so I'm a mentor. I mentor people from Chicago to LA. I'm also giving back. I'm a part of the Arizona Friends of Foster Care Foundation. I also started a nonprofit. And we're hosting our very first Black History Month event in February, where it's called A Taste of Melanin. Shameless plug right now. So A Taste of Melanin. So in February, throughout the whole month of February, you'll be able to attend an event every weekend, from silent disco, trap karaoke, movie in the gallery, and the big event at the end of the month is Black Excellence Night. We really want to bring everyone together to learn more about Black culture and just have good time. And so, and also just also teaching young professionals how to move in the creative space. So that's what I'm doing.
That's a tough one to follow because I can't say I do anywhere near as much, but I think for us right now, well, first of all, I think live events are where it's at. If you can, I mean, kudos, State 48. This is incredible. But anytime you can get people together, this is real community. This is what it's all about. So it's somewhere that we strive to be eventually, being a part of things like this, and maybe doing something of our own. But for us, we want to give people. We have the ability to opt in. So if you're purchasing a camera from us, there's an opt-in button. If you click the opt-in button, you're telling us that we can share your photos. We post customer photos all day, every day. So that's one thing that we try to do too. We can't always tag them because we don't ask for that information. We've tried. We're not sure. It's kind of a fine line, but giving our customers the opportunity to be on our next packaging, right? So when we launch a new SKU, we always put a collage of photos. So it's like crowdsourcing. Hey, submit your photo to be on our next package. That package goes all over the place, right? So that's something fun. And then, giveaways. We try to give away your, subscriptions here and there for whatever it is. But, that's, for us, like I said, that's, kind of the tip of the iceberg for us. But we're looking for ways to kind of give back. So any ideas? Talk to me after.
For me, it's trying to figure out how to give as much value in terms of how to get from here to there, and part of it is content. I mean, we've helped put on this foundation from putting on the live streaming to the recaps over the last couple of years, to the emails, to probably taking way too many meetings for an hour to give a how-to, even though might not be an ideal client, but I absolutely love trying to help people solve a problem quicker than them learning it on their own. So creating content, having meetings to show the how in my area of expertise is kind of how I try and give back.
This is the first thing that came to my mind, so I'll go with it. I think it is so important for us as business owners, and this is still something that's a personal value of mine today, is to see people. See the people within your community. And I still, to this day, try to learn names where I can learn names. I try to personally answer, like in a very personal way, any DMs, any texts that come to our text list. And I'm not saying that because I'm special. I'm saying that I've watched the ripple effect of how involved it makes people feel in Powerhouse Women, and how it's literally they feel seen because they are seen. And as the brand has grown, I know I won't ever be able to see everyone. But here's what I've noticed. So our events, like our last event was just 600 people. And I didn't even realize I did this, but a friend afterwards said, "How do you know everyone's name?" And I said, "Well, I don't. Of course I don't." She said, "But you'll look in the audience and you'll say, 'Oh, Carly.' Yeah, and that's actually my friend Carly right there." And I just acknowledge, like, when I make a point to try and see people. And this is so simple, but the ripple effect, as we're growing our businesses, I think it keeps our hearts aligned with who we're really serving. And we can do it in big and small ways, but no matter how big your company grows, if the founder of it still has a very personal connection with the people that you're serving, I just think you can feel that throughout the entire brand. So I don't even know if that was like the heart of the question, but that was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Well, it's important. I mean, just remembering somebody's name, like my name is just the letter J, and when somebody spells it Jay, I am so livid. I'm like, it's just a letter. Just do that, and that's it. So no, it definitely means, I'll tell you more about that later, but it's just the letter. So, but we're running out of time, but I really wanted to ask this question because I think it's important. How do you fund your business, and what do you do to fund your success as an entrepreneur? A lot of people are just starting out there. They're like, where the money at, type of thing. So what are you doing to fund your business? So anybody could pick up on that.
We're fully bootstrapped, and meaning I've just used the profits from the business, reinvested. Because a lot of our offerings are digital, there hasn't been a whole lot of overhead, but with events, there are. So in the beginning, this is where I talk about collaboration. I remember someone telling me how much a stage costs, and I was like, no, it doesn't. It could not cost that much. And was able to find partnerships, and I've always been able to negotiate things that are very much more budget friendly by really focusing on that collaboration piece I was talking about in the beginning. So that really, really helped us. And then as soon as you can, I'm a big believer in investing in someone to really help you understand your numbers. Because if you don't understand how to keep your business healthy as far as cash flow, that's going to be to your detriment. So it doesn't have to be a lot, but if you're not a numbers person, even setting aside a little bit of money to have a bookkeeper or someone really put together the numbers so you can at least understand the high level. Because as you scale, it's not like once you make more money, all the problems go away. That's not how it works. Just spoiler alert. Understanding those numbers is really, really crucial.
I will 10x what she just said. We have cash flowed everything as well, but did get to a certain point to where things outgrew to where I can handle it, and had to get basically a business payday loan, super high interest rates, still working through it on the better side of it, but by not having understanding the numbers, basically what it came down to is I thought it was a people problem, not a pricing problem, and so still working through it. And so part of it is maybe get some funding, have some cash laying around. Had a business coach and didn't listen to him because went to Dave Ramsey and loans are bad and all this stuff. And it bit me pretty bad. And I'm still having tough conversations, still trying to figure it out. But it's getting better. And so self-funding is great, but have some reserves set aside because you might get to a point where you grow quicker than you want to and unexpected things happen. And it is cash flow that is the main culprit to it.
We bootstrapped as well. We, self-funded, weren't sure what we were getting ourselves into. It was just an idea. Is it going to work? Let's test it, right? So we tested it out, and we have vending machines throughout the valley. We're like, let's go get more vending machines. These things work. Well, we ran out of cameras. So wait, the money's gone because we bought vending machines. How are we going to buy more cameras, right? So it's like really understanding, is it a want, is it a need? And, wants and needs, you can separate them, and things that are wants may become needs eventually, but really understanding what's the best use of this money that we have. And, forecasting is massive, and just understanding that, you can't just get 1,000 cameras from China, right? They come from China, right? And Fuji is in the United States, so we get those much quicker. However, you still have to forecast. So we learned the hard way that, without any money, luckily, my wife, who has a very successful salon, was like, hey, I'll invest in your business. I'm like, thank you. And she didn't want anything out of it but dinner, so it was great. It was the best deal I've ever made. But yeah, I think it's just being very mindful of finances. And we've had some really awesome people come forward and want to invest, and we're kind of like, I think we can do it on our own. Part of that is just us being scared to take somebody else's money, and like, who knows what's going to happen. It's just a little intimidating at this point for us to take in some bigger funding. So I think the time will come for us. However, for now, we're just going to try to ride the bootstrap as long as we can, and go from there. So yeah, I mean, long story short, I think it's just, we bootstrap, but being mindful of those finances and understanding where they need to go versus where you want them to go. So.
Sure. We're started bootstrap too. It all started with one client. I'll just keep it down and dirty. Like, where to find the money. So like, I would say like grants. There's a bunch of grants out there. I didn't see the rest of the series. So like CDFIs, tap into those big time. CPLC, Foresight Foundation, all those. They have a lot of cash that can help you, power your business. Cash flow is everything. So you need good cash flow. You need good credit. So you can that guarantor on that line of credit. Everyone needs a line of credit. Depending on what you do, you may need some runway later. For us, when projects get big, like say like $500,000 or whatnot, like I don't got just $500,000, right? So I need to still pay people, and you have the big account, and so all that stuff is really important. So definitely, like check out CFIs, your credit right, get a line of credit, bank local, big boxes. They're cool and all, but if you have a really good banking relationship with someone, that banker's going to have your back when you're looking for that line of credit to get you through. And so things like that. I didn't know a lot of that literally 3 years ago. So until I hit a wall, I was like, damn, what am I going to do? We have this project. How am I supposed to get all this cash? We were green for so long, and then it's like, I need to do this, and that. And I didn't know any of that. So I like to say I'm a student of the game, always learning. So yeah, do all that stuff.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of business entrepreneurs out there that are doing the same thing, starting out bootstrapping. But I know another good way that you could just earn some money, coming to the Entrepreneur Speaker Series, winning almost $10,000. Give a round of applause for that. See you in the back smiling, Mike. I wish we had the air horn. That would have been great right there. Well, I want to go ahead and say this too. Dustin, do you have an opportunity that you wanted to tell everybody about?
Yeah, so we have strategy sessions, perfect for small businesses. We typically charge about $750, but we do about 10 hours of deep diving into your analytics, ad accounts, website, and then we'll do it about a 2.5-hour strategy session where you'll get a ton of different deliverables of what you can focus on, where you can focus, kind of how to do it, and basically offering 50% off for the first 5 people that want to sign up.
Oh, you trying to throw something out there too? All right, Dustin said 50%. What you got?
I'll do free or whatever. I just want to see what everyone's doing. So like the brand that I feel compelled to help will help 2 brands. Just brand strategy.
And how could they reach out to you?
You know, my website, my email. I don't know if it's on like a flyer or something.
There you go.
But I don't know. But I think it'd be cool to see everybody.
Okay.
I will. I'll take your favorite photo of you for free. So find me after. I've got like 24 or 5 left. So
I was expecting one of you guys to do the Oprah to say, "Look underneath your seats, everybody." All right, now we're going to get to the Q&A portion of the section right now. So if you do have questions, you just have to raise your hands up. Speakers, if you can go ahead and give the mics over to the foundation members. So just go ahead and please raise your hand, and you guys could go ahead and ask your questions.
What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for being here. Can you each tell us what you were doing prior to starting your business now, and then also your biggest marketing win? It doesn't have to be anything major, but what was that kind of aha moment on the marketing side for each one of you? Well, I would love to hear what you guys were doing before this.
It's a little crazy what I was doing. So I was the lead designer at Upper Deck. So I worked with LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods. So I've been in sports for a long time. I did the back-to-back championship logo for the Miami Heat. Was LeBron James's designer for a long time. So that's what I was doing. Then before that, I was an exhibit designer. So I used to design museum exhibits. So yeah, super random, right? Yeah, like 8 years of my life. What was the other part of the question? Sorry. I think getting that, we did a really successful campaign for the National Forest. I think it was really great. It was around D&I. So I think that was a huge win for us.
Mike, thanks for the question, and thanks for having us all. And for this is awesome. Previous to this, well, Strap is a side hustle, no surprise there, but I'm national director of on-premise for a brand called Happy Dad, which is a hard seltzer brand. So I do that currently. Previous to that, I was in touring. I toured with a DJ named Cascade for 8 years, and then previous to him, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Sometimes you'd be surprised how many people I sit on the plane and they're like, who? It's okay. I just assume nobody knows who he is. And then a DJ before that named Vice, and done. So touring was a heavy part of my life. I did that for, 10 years. And then previous to that, I did NBA player stuff. I was a traveling assistant for an NBA guy. Our biggest marketing win, which nobody knows at Strap, is getting a cease and desist from Clutch Sports, because we had so many other athletes featured on our Instagram. And of course we don't advertise that, but it's a small win. We were able to get cameras in the right hands, and it's funny because all of the agents of these players know that this is happening and they're fine with it, but that attorney's just like, who's tagging LeBron? Like, who is it? Let's send them one. So I think it's just a disconnect in the company, and they're just doing what their job is. So yeah.
Not as cool of a story, but before this, I was working at, I've been in digital marketing for about 13 years, started with Google, and then that allowed me to work with some big agencies here. Got to work with some national, international brands like P.F. Chang's, Pet Boys. Really cool, managing a couple $1 million a month in ad budget, and then got laid off one day and said I would never let this happen to me again. So worked at ASU at the Teachers College, helping them build out the digital program while I started EIC on the side. Hired someone full-time before I made the move, and eventually just kind of took off and made the leap of faith. And honestly, you might say it's kind of biased, but the biggest marketing win is partnering with you guys, helping State 48 through the pandemic. That was definitely a couple crazy conversations, but watching you guys thrive through it has been amazing. And then honestly, helping out with the foundation. You guys have done an amazing amount of work in just a couple of years, and to be part of that has been amazing.
Almost as sexy as touring with a famous DJ. I sold carpet. That's literally no way to make that sound cool. But I met my amazing husband through that company, so it was worth it. And then I had a little time in network marketing, which was like my dipping my toe into entrepreneurship. Biggest marketing win, honestly, it just feels like overall like a win for me to feel the energy that we've cultivated, the kind of people we've attracted into the community, mainly organically. I think it's like so intangible, but the real special intangible magic that we've cultivated is just something I'm super proud of.
Hi there. So my question is basically a big part of, 'cause I don't know about all y'all, but a big thing that I deal with when thinking about companies is dealing with this in my head there's always this like nagging fear of, I guess lack's the right word, never enough, like there's not enough customers, there's not enough like revenue, there's not enough community, there's not enough, like just this lack mentality. What advice would you give to newer entrepreneurs for how to deal with that lack mentality and how to rather like welcome in, no, there are enough customers, there are enough people, but just like we need to just like do this and that?
Have you ever written $1 billion down on a piece of paper?
I have. They made us do it in school.
There are so many customers, so that's like, get rid of that thought right away, right? Like there's no such thing as not enough customers. He can help you reach them. He can help you reach them. And I think confidence is key. I am terrified of speaking in front of people, and it's rough, but you have to force yourself to be uncomfortable, and it's okay to have a little doubt, but you're your biggest fan. Like you need to cheer yourself on. You can do it. There's plenty of customers, and you will find a way to do it. So, I think it takes time and work, and you have to flip that switch. If it's negative up here, you've gotta fight it, and it's something that is hard to do, but with enough practice, you can do it. And I've got faith in you.
And then I would just add, like, really tangibly in the moment, when you're noticing those thoughts, first of all, just, it's normal. And it tells me that you're dreaming really, really big. But what happens is when we are acutely aware of where we are now and where we want to be in the future, we tend to focus on the gap between where those two places are. And the gap is where all those crappy thoughts of like, I'm not there yet, will I ever be there, there's not enough, kind of live. Just like a bad neighborhood. Don't walk around there at night. But to realize this means I'm dreaming really big. I've got a vision that's so far out there in the future, and put your focus back on, either if it feels too far away to focus like on the big, big vision, then focus on helping one person today. Focus on like the individual person you could help. And that always helps to like really snap me back out of it, because I have those thoughts all the time. So very normal. And it means you're dreaming really big.
I think, just to add to it, I think that just dig deep, is to stay focused. Like, try to get out of your own head. I know that's hard, but to quote a great philosopher, they don't want you to win, so you're gonna win more. DJ Khaled. So, so I told myself I'm gonna put him in there somewhere. But that's true though. So DJ Khaled is really great. You should check him out. But like, yeah, they don't want you to win, and so but you gotta win. You gotta win more. You got this. Yeah, God did. Exactly.
Yeah, I would also add, I mean, it's great what you mentioned. You're here and you're looking at there, and that's a big gap. The easiest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. How do you get from here to there? But I think what most people forget is also how did I get here? And not remembering, look, I started with just an idea, and now I'm here getting customers. I have multiple customers. And so taking time to really reflect back and look at the progress that you made will help that mindset and figure out where you're going and give you the confidence to not look at what do I need to do next year, but what can I do tomorrow to get to next year. So half full, half empty, it's all perspective to me.
And now we're going to take a question for our audience. Oh, I thought somebody was going to say something. We're going to ask a question.
I did have a question. I have a question.
Well, real quick, we are running out of time, so we have to, I want to get at least one remote question in. This is from Chris Smith, who's watching virtually. What keeps you motivated? What are your current goals?
Motivated is family, friends, children, right? Like, that's my biggest motivator. Grateful to wake up every day. And what was the rest of the question?
The rest of the question was, what are your current goals?
Oh, current goals. I mean, for Strap specifically, it's world domination, really. No, I think it's film photography. It's very niche. It's not a massive. It's big, but not as big as it used to be. Obviously, it's coming back. So, getting people more interested in film, understanding film and how it works, and then understanding the joy that is receiving those memories back and having to wait. Right. So we. Not capitalizing, but we've found that nobody has to wait for anything. There's, Amazon, you can get anything the next day. Film, you have to wait for. And it's actually refreshing. So going through that process one time and having to wait that 10, 15 days or whatever it is to get those photos back is actually, it's a very refreshing feeling. But yeah, so I think that answers the question.
I think for me, it's a legacy. So just wanting to build this legacy and leave something behind for family. A goal for us as an agency is just to help as many people as we can connect. So like working with like entrepreneurs or just nonprofits, being able to help increase their brand or bring it up to a great standard. Because I'm in an industry where it costs a lot to put together a brand strategy and things like that, and I just want to be able to help people there. So yeah.
For me, it goes back to changing family trees. I mean, if you can provide business growth, it changes people. And to me, as much as the news wants to portray humans are getting bad, they hate each other, I do think that people long for human connection. I think humans are great, and I think the more that you can empower a business and humans to do better, there's going to be a ripple effect. So I guess make a world a better place. And really the motivation, I guess, is just on that.
Casual. On a really tangible level, well, what keeps me motivated is I'm most motivated just by my own evolution, finding what I'm really capable of in this lifetime, and I think business is a really great playground to do that. You have to become someone new to reach the next goal. In this season, our goal is to do less and do it better. So we're really going all in on the things that we want to grow. Our podcast, which is called Powerhouse Women, and our event, which is also called Powerhouse Women, are the two things that we're really putting our full focus on, and that feels really, really good after a season of hustling and serving in a lot of different ways. So I bet someone else needs to hear that today, like permission to do less and do it better, like really focus in and elevate the level of excellence that you're doing the most important things in your business with.
I was able to ask my question. Thank you. So I'll just make this quick. As entrepreneurs, we're all in different stages of our life. Some of us have families, some of us don't. And so my question to you is a little layered. What is one thing that you do to stay organized, and what is one thing you do to achieve balance?
I use ClickUp. It's a project management tool, but I literally audit down to every 15 minutes of where I'm spending time between different clients versus the business versus clients versus family versus my own education versus, I mean, to me, I A/B test my own life. I mean, even down to putting my kid to bed. It drives my wife nuts, but you have to audit where you're spending time, where you want to spend time, and are you tracking it to ensure that you are spending time in those right areas?
I just started using a tool called Motion, which is an AI calendar. I'm only a week in, full report later, but so far it's making sense and working a little bit. I've tried ClickUp. ClickUp is awesome. However, I have a hard time following a calendar and a schedule because I'm so used to being always on. So balance for me is really hard. As a tour manager, you don't get to sleep and you don't get to turn things off and you are always on. So I have a really bad habit of always being on. So balance is something I'm working on. If anybody has any pointers, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, that's what I've got.
I'm still working on it myself too, so I'm not good. I'm not gonna lie. I have a meeting after this, so yeah, my calendar is crazy, and as we grow, I have no time. Why? I'm still trying to figure it out.
Organization-wise, we really love to organize we have a project management system, but then even just Google Drive, we organize pretty much everything within the business there. I think it's just like finding the platform that works the way that your brain works. Balance, I don't think it really does exist. I just don't think it does. And I'm in a season right now, my husband and I don't have children, and I'm in a go mode. And I've had to realize that my pace doesn't have to look like everyone else's pace, meaning my pace is I have a lot of creative energy to give. And I used to really feel almost like guilty about that because we're supposed to achieve this balance and be very zen. What I do for fun is I build my business. And I think that's okay. I think that's really okay. Now, you so beautifully acknowledge that it is about being honest with what season we're in. And a question I've been asking myself lately to find maybe not even more balance, but infuse more fun and creativity is what are the things that I loved to do as a kid that I haven't been making time for as an adult? So adding in a dance class every week and just things that they feel fun, but interestingly enough, they're also making me feel more creative in my business. But anyone who just needs permission to kind of be obsessed right now, I read this post online that says, you're not boring, you're building. So I know that's not me, that's someone else, but that was fire, and I double tapped that.
All right, everybody, give a round of applause to our speakers for tonight. I love those lights. Could we do that one more time? I don't think I saw that last time. That's lit. All right, everybody, just want to let you know the resources that you're going to get. Be sure to look at your emails on Friday. You should be receiving that. And then also, I want everybody to know, too, to keep events like this for free, it's all about donations. So there's going to be QR codes outside. Also, I don't know if we're going to put it up on the board there. There it goes. So if you could scan this QR code, you could donate to the State 48 Foundation. That's what keeps events like this free. I mean, you're able to take home a piece of $50,000. So if you guys, I see a couple of phones out. Thank you. We really appreciate that here at State 48 Foundation. And also, we'll be back here next week. Thank you again. And remember, the speakers will be here to answer some questions and take some pictures, kiss the babies. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.